Welcome back to Let's Play Darkest Dungeon. I'm your host, Timepants, and today we are headed back to the Weald. I am, again, doing a medium run. I mean, that's an improvement, right? It's better than doing all these meaningless little short runs that ultimately don't generate a whole lot of momentum for us in terms of our ability to obtain treasure. Certainly not a lot of experience points to be gleaned from them, especially not at like novice level. So yeah, we definitely need to get off those. That's kind of like eating potato chips for dinner and nothing else. So they're fun. It's nice kind of. I don't know if I would say light, but not not a big investment of our time. So there's certainly value there, but that was, wow, really, really lucky. Lucky, very lucky. We fought in the East Gallery, filled with portraits of our ancient lineage, uncaring witnesses to the slaughter. Alzared, the fiery heartbeat of our retinue, wait a minute. I've read this one before. So, I keenly remember this. I have a keen insight on the keen nature of the keen. See, I'm doing the same joke again, and this is to illustrate my point that finding the same journals again and again and again is actually a bit more troublesome than it is a reward at a certain point. Like, okay, somebody help me out here with the journals. So, the journals, if you take them home, like if you bring them back to the hamlet, do they stop showing up? Like, is that your reward? If you collect them all, you never have to see them again? Because then I get it. Like, I can now see why people would want to bring these back and make the inventory space for them. If not, who, like, what? Like, what? Why do these keep showing up? Who keeps moving these around? This is like, when in like some 80s TV show where, the little brother gets his sister's diary and starts passing it around school, and it just finds its way into the hands of wacky people like, the boy she has a crush on, and the principal, and the teacher whose coffee she spit in, and like the police because she actually confesses to a pretty grisly murder that hasn't been solved for like 3 years. It's kind of that wacky, contrived setup that I'm getting here, because why do we keep finding the same goddamn journals again and again and again? Like, somebody? Anybody? So, I don't know. Anyway, I said that I would stop griping about the journals. I believe I said that. That seems like something I might have said at one point. Anyway, let's take stock of our run here, see how it's going so far. So, we obviously lose a bit of scouting by running in the darkness, but our Houndmaster actually has a trinket that I did not give its due in the first new game that we did, and I certainly didn't give it any appreciation in New Game Plus either, because I was dead focused on amassing a stockpile of plus damage trinkets, and ultimately it worked out. But yeah, at this point, having played a bit more of the darkness run, the New Game Plus darkness run, I am definitely beginning to see the value of utility trinkets like this. I mean, obviously the map is top notch. Does not get better than the map. That is genuinely as far as I'm concerned, a premier trinket in the game. But yeah, I completely overlooked this because I thought, well, I don't want to run in darkness. And obviously this is in Cookie Monster terms, a sometimes food. You know, we rare are travelers on the roads of Sodom, and rather than starve, I pressed my last coin into the hands of one who dealt in rumors and shadows. Ravens carried cryptic notes that there was a person or persons who was pledging coin for services best left unmentioned in a hamlet I had never heard of. I'm packing to leave immediately. He's becoming a whore. Like this, he is going to become a, I guess, gigolo would probably be the term. That is, I mean, I heard somebody's paying top dollar for some dark deeds that are done in shadow. Okay, I know what you're doing, man. Like, it's all right. You know, we've all had jobs that we are not particularly proud of, but we were at a point in our lives where we had to do them. I get it. But I don't think it was entirely necessary to disclose this information and just leave it scattered. I mean, it is perfectly cut out of whatever book or binder you kept this in. Like, you clearly took the time to get a nice straight edge on it. Are you for real? The road to this damned hamlet was a tricky one, both to find and to travel. When it revealed its ruined face, I swore I'd never seen such neglect. Some buildings collapsed and uncaring residents. That's definitely one we've read also. So this is actually a call for some assistance. If somebody can help me out with the mechanics of seeing less of the journals, I'd really appreciate it, because I mean, at this point I feel like it's just taking up valuable treasure space, right? Like, are we missing out on an actual benefit to be gleaned from that treasure drop? You know, the code doing its check. I don't know anything about computers, but you know, checking in the code. Does it have? Does the player have this journal? Yes. All right then. Don't populate the journal. Give him something else from the loot table. Well, if we could be getting like literally anything else, then there's definitely a lot of value. You know, something like crests or deeds, portraits, gold, gems. Yeah, all of these have value that definitely, especially in a speedrun where I do think we are going to have moments of, I think we're going to have a lot more famine than feast, is basically what I'm saying. So if we can get the benefit of, you know, filling up those spots on the loot table, or having it re-roll those spots on the loot table with something that we can get some material benefit out of, then yeah, maybe we should try and think about doing that. Then again, is that a trap, right? Am I sacrificing spots or inventory space early to carry back a bunch of unstackable journals and losing out on an inventory slot that could have been devoted to treasure? And we aren't going to be playing the game long enough, in enough weeks in like material terms. I probably should have just shot. That was probably stupid. But yeah, do you see what I mean? Maybe if you play for 60 weeks, you should take all the journals, because over that time, like over that long enough timeline, you'll recoup the one-time loss of the inventory slot, or the one-time loss of the inventory slot, but you free up space on the loot table that's going to get re-rolled again and again and again for several weeks. And yeah, over the course of a long enough campaign, it's just mathematically the better option. Or am I grossly overthinking this again, kind of like I did with the how the collector shows up? Still don't 100% know, but at this point, I'm just equating in my mind, if you got an inventory with stuff in it, and there's more stuff than empty slots, probably this is something that you should at least be aware could happen, right? Fair. So I'm trying to see how we can maximize our, our benefit here. And we did end up using all of our time. Maybe the scouting would have been better, but I don't know. We got definitely our money's worth out of getting +2 speed across the board in our last run, so I feel pretty good about sticking with it. So something I've been thinking a lot about, and I basically just sometimes get my brain locked in this recursive pattern of just focusing on like a very single specific thing, like a mechanic in a game, or like a build that I'm trying, or that I want to try out in like Dungeons and Dragons or like Dark Souls or something like that, and I'll just iterate on it obsessively for like weeks at a time and just stare at it. And I'm not saying that I then eventually come up with a solution. No, quite the opposite. That's what productive, intelligent people will eventually do, given enough time to try and solve the problem. I'm not purporting that I am able to do that. But Red Hook had sort of an open feedback sesh where they said, hey, we're going to do another trinket balancing pass. Tell us what you think of trinkets in Darkest Dungeon, like where they stand right now. Have we done a good job incentivizing the use of trinkets? Are they varied? Are they interesting? Are each class's unique trinkets, are they useful? And it got me thinking, because in my first experience with Darkest Dungeon, I definitely took sort of an approach of these are the very immediately, like abundantly obvious good trinkets. Sun rings, the Ancestor's Candle, right? The Ancestor's Candle. What else? There's no other good trinkets. That's it. The map, for instance, is phenomenal. There are the Ancestor's vest is just a really good, solid defensive item. All of these things just kind of jump out at you. You don't have to play the game more than probably 15 weeks before you can very clearly determine what the general use good trinkets are. Of course, there's other trinkets that have sort of specialized use for a certain kind of party composition or a certain kind of build. But it made me think, because my first inclination was no, Red Hook. I feel like you kind of pooched it. There's really, really clearly very good trinkets for a handful of classes. Like, for instance, the Hellion's trinket assortment is pretty damn good. The Houndmaster's pretty good. Bounty Hunter, not so much. That's pretty sorry. But the Vestal has that scroll or whatever where you're able to move her in the second rank, and she gets really good healing, but in the second rank she's only able to do her AoE heal, and she gets plus melee damage as a benefit, where you wouldn't really think to use her as a melee character, but if you force her into the second rank, what else are you really going to do? So it was really interesting to kind of sit back and think, okay, well, the Jester's trinkets are categorically garbage. How would you fix that? What are the problems? What sort of fixes could you actually apply to make maybe the trinkets, maybe the character itself is, I mean, hot trash, but could you make his class, like his unique trinkets, excel, like allow him to excel enough in one particular respect that all of a sudden he is not really one class, he can kind of be played as like 3 or 4 very unique variants. Like maybe one of his trinkets is like a big increase to his bleed skills. What if there's one trinket that is like round 1 he gets a big speed boost, but only if he's in the first rank. So now this is, you know, initiate with finale. I'm already seeing a little bit of ludonarrative dissonance here, if I may get up my own ass. But yeah, he can open up with finale, get one big solid hit, take the debuff, go back into the back rank, and then, you know, buff up the party while they sort of clean house against, you know, presumably 3 or 4 and 1 badly wounded enemy. That, I mean, that could be interesting, right? I feel like there are some trinkets that are generally, I don't want to say useless, because in the right situations, no, obviously they're not. There are very few trinkets that are just flat out bad. But like the trinkets that are like, you know, plus 20% movability, or yeah, plus 20% to like blight skills, or yeah, plus 20% blight resistance, minus 2 dodge, or something like that. Like, that's trash. That's so bad. Like, losing 2 dodge is not the end of the world. It's not exactly what I'd call devastating. But the benefit, like the general benefit out of a trinket like that is so marginal that I feel like losing the 2 dodge is actually too great a penalty to pay for something that really just, it's not that good. It's not something that, even in bleed or blight heavy dungeons, I'm gonna risk it. Yeah, I don't really see it worth even that minor sacrifice, because why would you? So this run has been amazing. Like, we have just shredded, of course we dropped our shovels, okay. But yeah, we have absolutely torn through this dungeon in record time. What, only 2 of our characters even have the slightest amount of stress. We all still have our camping buffs at this point in the game. This is good. Yeah, I think we hit the back. Like, okay, stick with me here. I actually didn't think we were going to get the bleed. I was going to say maybe we use that rain of arrows like the AoE, and we just hope that the debuff lands and does enough to, like, to hamstring. I just started talking about it. Like, that was idiotic. I just should have shot the back. What am I should have just shot rank 4. Oh my god, I may one day forgive myself, but it's gonna be a long road. That kind of shook me to my core, honestly. What happened? Alright, fortunately, I don't think we're going to pay too steep a penalty for that, like, glaringly obvious misplay. And ultimately, maybe we even got a little bit more value. Yeah, maybe we even got a little bit more value out of the AoE than we should have, because the rank 4 shroom cannon didn't end up actually attacking, but still, that is unforgivable. Alright. I think at this point, we should probably be glad that the dungeon is winding down, because I have derailed, apparently. But yeah, I do think that the class, like the unique trinkets, are so cool conceptually. I think you get so much opportunity for kind of this creative design space where you really get to customize your character. You can make class unique trinkets a little too good, I think, because they only help like, what, at most like a sixth of your roster. So anyway, oh yeah, the last one, the quick draw pendant, is amazing. Like, you can design an entire marching order just by that one trinket. Like, how cool is it to be able to guarantee to go first? That's a huge benefit. Stuff like that's really cool, and I hope that we see more of that when they give the trinkets another look-see. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else really we need to do. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.